we explore the world of entrepreneurship and web design. We'll discuss topics that are shaping the world around us and tackle your questions from the mailbag. And because everybody could use a little positivity, we'll also share some good news to end on a high note. So let's get started.
Yeah.
I'm Christy Price, and I'm a web designer. In 2018, I moved my business to work only on the Squarespace platform. Today, I work one-on-one with clients and also create Squarespace templates and courses to help you grow your business.
Hey, I'm Will. I'm a web developer, and I've built a lot of websites on Squarespace. And now I primarily build and sell plugins, and that has been my business. And I just love Squarespace because it has enabled me to build the business that I currently have today. So, quick disclaimer before we jump into the shenanigans. Squarespace Shenanigans is an independent production and is not affiliated with Squarespace Inc. The opinions and views expressed on this show are solely those of us and don't represent the official stance of Squarespace. All information shared on the show is for educational and entertainment purposes and should not be considered professional advice. Basically, we're not affiliated with Squarespace. That's just the community we're part of. We are unhinged and unfiltered with our shenanigans.
We've
That's where
gone
we're at.
rogue.
We've gone rogue. We've gone rogue. Okay, so I thought it'd be fun to that's all the little formalities out of the way. Start off with two truths and a lie. See if we can get to know each other a little bit more. So, Christy,
Yeah.
why don't you give us two truths and a lie? And then close to the end of the show, we're going to bait you in and hook you. Close to the end of the show, we're going to reveal which one is the lie. So you start off.
So I'm going to do it a little differently. So I'm going to give you 3 countries that I've spent time in, and you have to tell me which one I've never been to.
Okay.
All right. The countries are Belarus, Canada, and China. And I gave them an alphabetical order, so there's no meaning to the order.
There's no meaning to the order. So you're a traveler. Those are very, very different parts of the world. Quite different. Okay, good. I think I have an idea. I have an idea. I'm kind of going Belarus. I'm kind of leaning that one. But we'll see. I don't know. You can tell us at the end. Mine are, here are my 3. My mom made me take ballet growing up. I repeated 4th grade. And I lived in Haiti for a year.
All right. I feel like you lived in Haiti for a year. So I'm kind of torn between repeated 4th grade and ballet.
I might do a little
you
routine
have this grace about
you.
you. I mean, like, I feel like ballet could be a thing. So I'll think on that.
Yeah,
we'll come back to that.
We'll see. Okay. We'll come back to these at the end. Let's jump into the topic of the week. And let me just quickly introduce it. Is it finally Independence Day? One balloon and 3 other UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, have been shot down in recent days. The balloon was a Chinese spy balloon that was shot down off the coast of the Atlantic on February 4th, but the other 3 objects have not been publicly identified, and recovery efforts have ended. The White House has ruled out the possibility of aliens, but of course, that is what they would say. Christy, what is going on? What's happening right now?
I think it's really interesting that we've leaned into the term UAP instead of UFO.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to pull one over on us.
Yeah,
I feel like they're trying to rename it so it's not exactly, and we're like, oh, okay, maybe it's not aliens. Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we'd have to be pretty egotistical to think that we're the only life around. But I don't know that there are other aliens that have. There are other aliens. Are we an alien? There are aliens that have like the ability to come hang out here. I think one of the things that I read was that when they realized that the Chinese balloon was here, they're like, oh, that's been here a while. I guess we should recalibrate our sensors to look for slow things. And so when they did, it's like they're picking up all kinds of stuff now. And so there are all these false positives and things that we shouldn't worry about. And I kind of feel like they're probably going around shooting down private research balloons and things like that.
Did you see that? Did you see that was one of the stories that came out? It was like this 8th grade balloon club or something that came out. Where we're saying, We lost
Oh,
our balloon over Lake Huron.
those poor
It may
kids.
have been that.
Oh man. But
Yeah,
what an awesome time it would be to be a fighter pilot. It's like I get to shoot stuff down.
this was the first confirmed kill for our F-22 fighter jets. Was a balloon. It was a Chinese balloon. We shot these $400,000 rockets at it. It's kind of funny,
So
actually. I'm kind of there.
that is really funny. And the poor eighth grade rocket, right?
Yeah,
Or the balloon, yeah, with these
yeah.
rockets.
Those poor
So
people
so do you find it distracting when there's things like this on the news? Is it hard for you to focus
all the
on
time.
work? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just I don't know what it was about this story in particular. I think it started with like the Chinese
Mhm.
balloon, and then like, oh, this is like pretty interesting. And then all of a sudden, it was the next week, a million other balloons just seemed to, or balloons just seemed to pop up all over the place. And
UAP.
I just found myself, I like couldn't work. I was just like refreshing Twitter, trying to see what
Mhm.
happened.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what that says about us and our society too, that we're just so excited to run out and hope that there's
Oh
aliens. I don't
no.
know. What did you you don't believe in aliens?
I do.
Is
I
that
think it would be silly of us to think that there aren't some
yeah?
other
I
life form,
I
but
kind of agree.
I don't know that they come hang out here, but
See, my wife Ren, she believes in aliens, and
yeah.
she's convinced of it. I'm more on yours. I think they're out there. I can't imagine that
Why
they
would
have
they
come to
bother
this
with
place.
us? I
Why
mean,
would they?
seriously.
I don't know. We're pretty interesting. We have this podcast
That's true.
or this
That's
YouTube
true.
live. What is this? Whatever this
But
thing.
if you like the idea of friendly aliens, I have a good book recommendation for
Oh,
you.
what is it? Let's hear it.
So it's called The Hail Mary Project. It's by Andy Weir, who also wrote The Martian.
The Hail Mary. What's that about?
Yeah, it's about a middle school science teacher who wakes up in space and has no memory of anything.
Interesting. That kind of sounds like I think I watched. What's the Foundation?
Oh yeah,
There's something. Have you ever seen Foundation or heard of
yes,
Foundation? It's an Apple TV show.
yeah. This is
Fantastic.
that's like Isaac Asimov. This is funny.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, okay. So
yeah. It's very, very different, yeah.
nice,
But the
nice.
whole yeah, I don't love the, lost memory trope, but they do it really well in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
But
it's pretty good.
like you, I find it there are certain things that come up that are really distracting, and it's hard to work. When Russia invaded Ukraine, I mean, you and I have a lot of online friends who are in the
Hmm.
same business who are in Ukraine and still to this day have to deal with a war there. And for the first several weeks, it was all I could do to tear myself away from the TV and work.
Yeah.
Um, I
I
think at some point you get a little numb to it, but there's a
I'm
lot going on in the world right now.
100% with you. I am
Mhm,
utterly addicted to what's going on over there. In like in a ridiculous way because I'm not like involved with
mhm,
it at all. I don't have to deal with like the trauma of living that every single day.
mhm.
But it's that and the UFOs and everything. I find it very hard to pull myself away from my phone and like do actual work sometimes.
I do too. And
Um,
you and I have talked. So one of the things I think we both have, or we have the times where it just cuts you off on your phone. It's like you're done with this app.
yes, the oh we were just talking about it a second ago right before we started
Yeah.
screen
Mhm.
time, the screen time app.
Yes.
It's fantastic. And I've now gotten past the point. See, alien, they are real. I I told you. I've now gotten past the point where I respect the boundaries of that app too.
Mhm.
It pops up and I'm like, not today. I'm just gonna click right past you. But it is a good reminder to just be like, okay, and been on my phone for about an hour, just kind of scrolling things. I
Mhm.
probably need to put this down.
I agree. That's the one thing that I use as sort of an interruption
Yeah.
mechanism. So I know, oh, it's time for me to actually get back to work. So
Right, right.
yeah.
The interruption of it is what I need. I don't know if you're like this. I have to literally throw my phone and my iPad away from my computer because if it's beside me, I'll
Mhm.
finish the task and then all of a sudden my phone will be open. My phone's
Mhm.
open and I'm doing something on my phone. I don't even remember picking it up. None of that. It's just I'm social media.
Yeah,
I'm
so
the middle of social media.
yes, it's difficult. I actually like I challenge myself to leave my phone in another room for hours at a time now.
Mm.
It's a
That's
tough one.
that, that's a good challenge. Ren has been wanting us to do like a no technology vacation, like a 3 day in the cabin, no computers, no phone, no nothing for those 3 days, and it just gives me anxiety thinking about
I can't do yeah. I'm anxious on your behalf.
it. Thank you, thank you. I feel heard. I feel heard. Um, but
Well,
I
if
don't know,
if you
it
guys
probably would be
watching
good.
this yeah, if you guys watching this have any tips or tricks that you use to be able to focus on work instead of UFOs, wars, everything
Would
else
love to
going
know.
on around us, drop a note in the comments. We'd love to know.
Would love to know. Um, okay, should we jump to our mailbag question?
Yeah, yeah, it's time for a mailbag question. And if you guys have a question you would like for us to answer next time, drop that in the comments too. So today our question is, what is the biggest advice you could give someone trying to incorporate more passive income through templates, plugins, code, etc. into their business? Well, what do you
Hmm.
think?
Um, Piece of advice for passive income. I would first reframe that because I really don't believe in passive income. I just don't like that word. I don't know if that's necessarily what people mean when they say
Mhm,
passive. It's just maybe what they've read.
mhm,
But there's definitely nothing passive about the plugins that I do, or what else? The course that I sell. There's very little passive. It's more I've front loaded the work. So I've
mhm,
done a bunch of work up front and got it
mhm,
together and put up the sales page. And now people can buy it like the whole when I sleep. People are buying when I sleep. I still have to support that though. I still have to maintain it.
mhm.
And the there's support and maintain. You still have to market. I mean, that's what I've found is like the biggest part of this. You can build these recurring things where people buy stuff in their sleep, but you quickly see after you've launched, sales plummet to basically nothing
Yeah,
unless you're marketing and promoting it.
yeah.
Um,
It's
which
not Field of Dreams.
no, it's not Field of Dreams. So that would be the first thing I would say is just kind of reframe that expectation. Don't
Mhm,
expect it to be a passive income type thing. Um, but outside of that, I would think back to maybe what it is that you want, and maybe it is something in a lot more effort up front, and you have these lower priced products or something that people can buy. um, for me, one thing that I focused on that helped me when I was getting started, um, was just keeping the price point really low. That was something when I was first getting started. I just
mhm,
wanted to try out a bunch of plugins, but I wasn't willing to commit 40, 70, whatever dollars to something, because I didn't know if my client wanted it. I mean, I was just
mhm,
experimenting myself. I was just making stuff up as I went. Um, so that's why my plugins are priced at that entry level starting point. And I think I stumbled upon that. I think there's because I think that created a stable audience for me, just because
mhm,
it got a bunch of people in who are willing to just like, I'll try $10, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's just $10. That's fine.
mhm,
And I think that's what got people in, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, he's got more products and more stuff," and
mhm.
that's kind of how my business grew. So that's what I'd recommend. Start with some lower price products, stuff that people wouldn't mind like testing out and trying, and if they don't get the value, then they've tried.
I think that is a great idea to kind of test the waters and see how
Mm,
you enjoy the process and how people respond to it. I
yeah.
think another thing that I would recommend is start building your email list when you're doing that. So whenever
Mm,
someone comes to your website, have an easy way for them to join your email list. When they purchase something from you, let them join your email list then. And then when you're rolling out something new, you have an audience that's already purchased
right.
from you and that already know you and what you offer. And they're, if you do good work, they're going to be happy to hear from you again and happy to support you and interested in what you're creating and selling. So I think that would be
100%.
my biggest piece of advice is, have an audience that you're capturing and you're ready to engage with.
100%. 100%. I think Squarespace just rolled out like this new feature with the email campaigns or something, um, where it shows you where people signed up. And I think
Mhm.
I was like 80 or 85% of my email subscribers came from a purchase, just
That's
from purchasing.
amazing.
It's not like, oh, I have this blog and they like the blog.
Mhm.
They signed up. There was a call to action. It, they just purchased something and signed up, and that's I was like that really shocked me actually. That I've been my business is a little under 3 years old
Mhm.
now, and that was the first time I saw that piece of data, and I was kind of shocked by it.
Yeah, that's awesome. People love you.
There we go. The people, they just love us. They just love us. Um, I love Squarespace. I just love Squarespace. I could just go on about it. But no, this is
Yeah.
an affiliated podcast.
Yeah, that's true, but
We're
it
not.
is pretty wonderful.
It really is. Um, okay.
Mhm.
Any other advice about that? I have one other question I
Yeah.
want to
What's
ask
your other question?
you. Instagram Blue, Verify Blue.
Yeah. What is it like, 144 bucks a year to get the
Oh
little
yeah.
check mark?
Is it? Do they have an annual thing? Good night. That's like a lot of money. I
Well,
think it
it's
was
like 12 bucks a month, right?
$12 a month. That's what I saw. It was like
Yeah.
11.99 a month.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I guess they would have an annual plan. That would make sense,
I mean, I just multiplied it by 12, so maybe the annual plan's actually cheaper, but I mean,
possibly.
so what do you get? You get a blue check mark and you get, I think they said you would actually get support, but they didn't say what kind of support or how, because now whenever anything goes wrong, you just shout into the void for a very long time.
And you get nowhere. No,
Nowhere.
that has been like a common thing with all these early tech companies, early
Mhm,
2000s. It's like
mhm,
they purposefully built their products without support,
mhm.
and just pushed through like Facebook and Google. Like it's impossible to
Yeah.
get in touch with anyone.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, I think that's another reason why um, we have businesses is because Squarespace support is not the best. It's actually gotten a lot better recently, but it hasn't
Mhm.
been the best historically because they just say, "Oh, do all these crazy things, remove all your code from your website before we take a look."
Well,
And I think
and
that's
that
part of the reason
it
why we
is.
have a business is just because
Yeah.
people want to talk to someone and get some answers.
Yeah, I think that's one of the so I do an hour Squarespace help call, and I think one of the reasons that's popular is because there's no way to get on the phone or on video with somebody at Squarespace. I mean, you can chat and you can email, but it's just not the same as having somebody one-on-one helping you.
Right, right, and
But
I'm not even saying that's a bad business decision. Look at
yeah,
Squarespace, look at Google, look at
they're
Facebook.
doing great.
They're kind of killing it.
Yeah.
But I do think there's this resurgence of people wanting a little more hand holding.
Mhm.
And frankly, so this is my take on this. I'm kind of here for it because I I want these business models to be for, from being so dependent on. I think there's a lot of perverse incentives
Mhm.
that bubble up with that,
Mhm.
and you have a lot more one-to-one direct relationship with your consumer if they're paying you. Now, $12
Mhm.
a month seems like a lot, but maybe that's the right thing to do. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. Um,
I wonder
I,
if we would see a shift in advertising though. Like, would that change or would that stay the same? And then they're just making additional revenue.
yeah, um,
I don't know.
that's a really good question. I don't know. It might stay the same. I mean, they've made a big point. They did that on Twitter,
Mhm,
and advertising is the same. I don't think
mhm,
they've gotten for the Twitter blue check people.
mhm.
They haven't like removed advertising, which wouldn't make sense because if you're paying $6 a month, $12 a month, those are your best customers. You don't want to pull the advertising away from them because
Right,
then the advertisers don't get in front of them.
right.
Um, but I think there's some. I think there's a model there. I think there's something there that that could work. Now,
I'm
it is
curious because my gut
go ahead.
reaction is this has been free and I'm not going to pay for it now.
Right. That's a very good point. Now, they're not making people pay
No,
for it, right?
no,
This isn't like a right.
no. So I mean, I
Right.
can stay with my no support, no blue check mark, and
Mhm.
just carry on. And then when something weird happens with my account, I'll be out of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have been for the last decade of my life with Instagram.
Right.
I know. I know. Um, well, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm kind of here for the shakeup of all of these business models. I think there have been
Yeah.
substantial amount of negative externality. I'm going to use big podcast words.
Ooh.
Negative externalities on the advertising based business models. I think there's been a lot of problems with that, and
Mhm.
so I'm kind of here for the shakeup a little bit.
I don't know what that means, Will.
Oh, just sort of the bad ramification, like the bad things that
Mhm.
pop up
Oh, negative
through.
externalities, like
Yes,
bad stuff that happens.
yes, like
Got
the
it.
bad things that happen,
Got it.
like just because of these advertising business
Sorry.
models.
Podcast speak. Woo.
No, that's fine. I'm not someone who uses big words. I just like to pretend like I do. I probably pronounced it wrong anyway. Um, well, fun. Okay, good to know. We'll see how that happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I might end up paying, you might not, and then we'll compare notes. I'll see if
Yeah.
I can talk to Adam Masseri over it. Instagram. Okay, should we move on to our last sort of segment before we reveal our lying,
Yeah, you
our
mean
lies?
the good news?
The good news. The good
Yeah.
news. So we
Yeah.
want to wrap up each of these Squarespace Shenanigan episodes with just a
Mhm.
little bit of good news. Christy and I both like to be positive people, and so it's we want to share good news. So we've come up with
Yeah.
a good news story each, and we're just going to share it with you. Talk a little bit
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
What's yours, Christy?
Mine is I want to give a big shout out to Justina Miles, who was the first Black deaf woman to perform ASL on at the Super Bowl, and she
Super cool.
killed it. So if you haven't seen the video of Justina signing during the halftime game or halftime show, check it out. It was the best American Sign Language performance I have ever seen in my life. I've
So and
watched it
that's
like four
what's
times.
the name is Justina Miles.
Yes.
Justina Miles. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's I missed it. I missed it live, but I would love to see that. I've seen a couple like TikToks of the ASL people at concerts,
Yeah.
and they're bomb. They're so good.
She is
They're
the best
so
I've
good.
ever seen. So
Yeah.
check it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to go check her out. My good news for the week is The Last of Us, the TV show Last of Us on HBO Max. I really first the TV show is really good. I don't know if you have HBO Max. It's a
I do,
zombie
but
TV show,
I've never seen it.
but it's excellent,
Okay.
really well done, and every single episode. I mean, depending on I guess what you like, but every single episode, you're just like you feel something. You feel something by the end of every episode. But that's good. Like that. What I really like about it is HBO drops these every Sunday night at 9. And
Mhm.
I I found myself frustrated at that, like being used to Netflix and like let's just pound through. I
Binge.
just want to keep going, keep going. But I kind of like this back to
Mhm.
like collective of what we're doing. It's not, oh, you watched it all here and then they watched it all there. It's like we're all kind of like watching it at the same time together. And
Yeah.
I kind of like a revert back to that. I feel like in the same way, like eating pizza every single night, like isn't probably the healthiest for you. You might want to do it,
Mhm.
but it's not very healthy.
Mhm.
Although I do love me some pizza. Like
Yeah.
binging every single show from its
Mhm.
beginning to the end, that might not be like the healthiest way to just like live our lives, spend
Yeah.
9 hours just like going through Netflix.
I
Um,
I like that sense of anticipation too. I think
right.
Severance on Apple TV
Good
did that.
night. Severance is so good.
Cannot wait
So
for
good.
season two.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing. I feel like it gave us all something to talk about the next day because we're
Exactly.
all watching it. And so now I'm going to have to watch The Last of Us.
You should. It's really good. I
Yeah.
think you should watch it. I think
Yeah.
you should. So there's the good news. Good news of the week: a return to collective viewing and Justina Miles, the
Killed
best
it.
ASL performer.
Killed it. Yeah.
Okay, Christy. I guess Belarus. In case people have jumped on now, we did two truths and a lie at the beginning.
Hmm.
Christy told us three countries that she had been to.
Belarus, Canada, and
China.
China.
Which one was the
I've
lie?
been to Belarus 4 times, Will.
Have you really?
I have.
Why? Why were you in Belarus 4 times?
The first time I went, it was to teach English, and then I went back 3 times because I made friends there, and it's an awesome place to visit.
Wow.
It's so interesting. If you're interested at all in post-communism, what it's like to live
Yeah.
in a society like that, fascinating. It's very different from life in some of the other former Soviet um, uh, parts of the Soviet Union, like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Ukraine or
Estonia,
yeah,
Latvia.
Latvia, Lithuania. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still very much. It still feels very much USSR like.
Mm.
So it's interesting. It's a great place to visit. It's beautiful. People are
I would love to
wonderful.
go visit. That
Yeah,
sounds very
yeah,
interesting. So,
yeah.
so I gotta say, so of the last two remaining,
Mhm.
Canada and China, I feel like
Mhm.
China's the other giveaway. I'm gonna go with Canada as the lie.
I've never been to Canada.
You've never been to Canada?
No, I've been to China, never been
No
to
way.
Canada. Yeah,
No way. I
but
probably
I'm planning to go, in April this year
There
for
we
the first
go.
time. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, that's really fun. What part of Canada?
So I think we're gonna fly into Vancouver and then take a train through the Rockies and spend some time in Banff and then head home from Calgary. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
fun. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mine
Okay.
were
Yeah.
my mom made me take ballet. I
Mhm.
repeated fourth grade,
Mhm.
and I lived in Haiti for a year. Which
Mhm.
one's the lie?
So I feel like I've heard you talk about Haiti, so I might have like a leg up on that. So I'm gonna say Haiti's true, although maybe I've got the country wrong. I don't know. Um, and then repeated fourth grade. I mean, maybe that's when you were in Haiti and you had to like repeat fourth grade. I don't know. The ballet, I can totally see that. You have, like I said, such a grace about you, Will. I feel
Mm,
like, yeah. I'm
thank
going
you.
to go with you did not repeat fourth grade.
That's You're wrong. You're
Ah,
wrong. I did repeat fourth grade. I did repeat
okay.
fourth grade, and I did live in Haiti, so it was the ballet. That was a lie. My mom never made me take ballet.
Mhm.
Although I kind of wish I had. I loved playing sports growing up, and I heard a lot of people took ballet, and
Yeah,
it was amazing for them with sports.
yeah.
Um,
So,
I cannot imagine how they do that on their tippy toes.
well, I think that it's never too late.
You know what? You're right. I love that mentality. Love that mentality. Maybe next time I'll
Yes.
be just prancing around.
Okay, so fourth grade.
Yeah.
What
So
happened?
I was the youngest. My birthday's in June 30th.
Mm,
And so
mhm,
that's like right on the cutoff line. And
mhm,
so I was the youngest in my grade, and I was switching
mhm,
schools. And my parents were like, I think it's better as if he's the oldest. And so
mhm.
I was switching schools anyway. So I was changing
Uh-huh.
friend groups. So I repeated fourth grade. At
Nice.
least that's what they told me. At least that's what my mama told me.
So,
Is that it
well,
wasn't because I was a little dum
I
dum.
actually started kindergarten a year late. Yeah, because
Did you?
I have a September birthday, early September, and in Tennessee, the cutoff was mid-September. So I would have been the youngest
Mm,
in my kindergarten class, and so my mom waited a year for me to start.
yeah.
I don't know
Smart.
why. Well, I don't
Smart.
know. I don't know. I
Maybe
was
it
the
was.
oldest one, so I was always the one driving everybody else when we were getting into trouble later. So
Me too. Oh yeah. I was absolutely the one driving everyone around.
yeah,
That was I was I was not a problem child. And I felt a lot better being the one driving.
yeah,
I would have
same,
rather been the one driving than my friends.
same,
'Cause
same.
I was fine with that. I was actually fine with it. But all right, there we go. That is our
Yeah.
show. That is our
Thanks so
show
much
for today.
for watching.
Thanks so much for watching. We have a little sign off. Thank you for spending time with us and being part of the Squarespace Shenanigans community. We're planning on doing more of these. We'd love to hear whatever mailbag questions you have, other segments you want us to talk about. But we'll be doing more of these and hope to see you again in the future. Thank you all so much for joining. We will see you next time.
Bye.